When I first got into ponds, a really common idea was that you should circulate the pond once per hour. And on the surface that kind of makes sense. But the problem is that's not the real story. Because circulating water for the sake of circulating is pretty much useless. Yeah, you might get a bit of oxygen through movement, but if you're not actually capturing waste and purifying the water, you're just moving dirty water around. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. Some ponds need to circulate much more than once per hour, and some need much less. It all comes down to the system you're running, the type of filtration you're using, and what you actually want out of the pond. But before we dig any deeper, if you don't already know me, my name is Kev, and I help people build and maintain ponds without spending a fortune. If that sounds like something you're into, you can check out my website, Ozponds.com. Now let's get into this. So if someone says to me, my pump's running fine, but why is my pond still dirty? The first thing I'm thinking is, it's probably not the pump. It could be a few things. The filter might just be too small, or it might already be full. And that's something people forget. Filters actually fill up. Sponges, sediment chambers, once they're full, they can't really capture anything anymore. So even though your pump's running perfectly, your system's basically hit capacity. And how often that happens depends on a few things. How dirty the pond is to begin with, how much waste it's producing, and how much capacity your filter actually has. Personally, I like bog filters. They've got a lot of advantages, but one of the big ones is they're large. So they can go for long periods without needing to be cleaned. And for someone like me who values low maintenance, they're really a no-brainer. For me, pump placement is huge. I never put my pumps right on the very bottom of the pond. Now you might think that's a good thing, like great, it'll suck up all the sludge and the muck. And I guess it is if you want a super clean pond. But the reality is some of that muck's actually a good thing. It's full of tiny organisms that break things down, feed the broader food chain, and even provide natural food for your fish. So by removing it all and keeping the pond quite sterile, that can actually work against you. But the bigger issue is maintenance. Unless your pump is specifically designed to handle solids and debris, it's going to become a nightmare. You'll be forever pulling it out, cleaning it off, and it's just no fun. There are pumps designed to handle solids, and I've got links to those on the Ozponds website if you're interested. But most standard submersible pumps aren't built for that. A much better option is to place your pump inside a DIY skimmer or an intake bay. These act as a pre-filter, they stop the larger waste before it even reaches the pump, and they pull water off the surface, which keeps the pond looking cleaner and clearer. They also sit on the edge of the pond, so they're easy to access, and you can hide them so everything still looks natural. Whereas if you just throw a pump on the bottom of the pond, you'll see it, and you'll see the plumbing, especially if your water's clear, which it should be if you've been watching this channel. Now for really small ponds, say anything under 1,000 litres or 250 gallons, I probably won't bother with a full skimmer or an intake bay, but I'll still add some kind of pre-filter. Usually just something simple like a bucket or a plant pot with a coarse sponge over the top. That lets water through, but it stops most of the junk. And even in that setup, I still don't put the pump directly on the bottom. This time it's more about safety. If something goes wrong with your plumbing, a leak, a break, whatever, the pump will just keep running and the pond is going to empty, and your fish won't be too happy about that. So just by lifting the pump up off the bottom, just a few inches or so, means if something does go wrong, there's still water left in the pond. So the main job of the pump is pretty simple. It takes water from the pond, runs it through a filter so we can capture waste and purify it, and then return that clean water back to the pond. Now you can buy and build all kinds of different filter systems. They just need to be suited to what you're keeping in the pond, how much water you're trying to deal with. In my ponds I use bog filters, I think they're awesome, and I've got plenty of videos showing how I build and maintain them, so I'm not going to get too bogged in those details right now. But if you do want help sizing one properly, I've got some free pond planning tools on the Ozponds website, including a bog filter and flow rate calculator, and that'll show you how I size them and what flow rates I like to run through them. And then if you're using a store-bought filter, just make sure you check the specs and that it's actually adequate for your setup. Now this is where flow path comes in. Water needs a journey, not just movement. We want it moving from the pond into the filter, getting cleaned, and then returning in a way that helps circulate the entire pond. This might include things like waterfall streams or even extra return jets to push water out of dead zones. It really depends on what you're trying to achieve and how low maintenance you want the pond to be, but the key idea is simple. We want continuous circulation from pond to filter back to pond. If that loop isn't working properly, that's when your problems are going to start. The type of filter you're using will influence how much flow you actually want from your pump. Some filters are designed for high flow. We want to push a lot of water through them, and that might be to trap solid waste like fish poo, or it might be to move water through highly oxygenated biological filters, where bacteria are doing a lot of the work cleaning the water. Whereas a bulk filter is a bit different. With those, we're aiming for a more slow and steady flow. We want waste to settle inside the filter so that it can be removed later, and we want the water to spend enough time in there with all that bacteria and the organisms that are living inside the system. If you push water through too fast, you're basically blasting everything straight through the filter before it has a chance to do its job. And if you go too slow, you can end up with stagnation and poor circulation. So it isn't just about how big your pump is, it's about matching the flow rate to the type of filtration you're using. One of the first ponds I ever built is a perfect example of not having a plan or good filtration. I did the old way. I got a basic pump, just set it up to circulate the pond once per hour, and I used an off-the-shelf filter. The result was the water went super green. The fish were actually fine. Green water doesn't really bother them. If anything, it gives them heaps of natural food. But it's not exactly nice to look at. Around that time I had a bit of experience with aquaponics. That's where you grow fish and vegetables together, the fish produce nutrients, the plants clean the water. It's a really nice loop. And one thing I noticed, the water in those systems was always crystal clear. So I started thinking about it, and the grow bed in an aquaponics system is basically just a bog filter. So I built a bog filter for that pond. And within about 4 weeks, the water went from so green I couldn't see 2 inches into it to completely crystal clear. Since then, I've recreated the same setup multiple times, and I've had people all over the world get the same results using the ideas I share here and on the Ozponds website. It's very simple, but it just works. So when it comes to pump setups, it's not really about the pump, it's about the system around it, where it's placed, how the water moves, what it's flowing through, and whether the whole loop is actually doing something useful. Because most of the issues that people run into, green water, algae, sludge buildup, constant maintenance, they're not really pump problems, they're design problems. And pump setup is usually where those problems start. If you get them right from the beginning, everything else becomes a lot easier. Every pond I build follows the same basic principles, and that's the system I put together in my Pond Formulas blueprint. It's not about copying my ponds, it's about understanding the thinking so you can apply it to your own setup. If you want to check that out, you can find it at ozponds.com, and I'll leave a link in the description. And if you want, you can check out this video on skimmers and intake bays next. It'll go into more details about pump placement and how you can build these filters yourself. I hope this video and the resources on the Ozponds website help you out. If they do, please give the thumbs up button a little tickle for me. Thanks for watching. See ya.